Hello. My name is Zach Mason. I am the pastor for youth and young adults here, and I've been tasked with saying welcome. So welcome. We are so glad you're here. As an FBC Decatur community, seeing all of you is so exciting, and I know y'all are in for a treat. I just was hanging out with Kendra and Aaron and Jamie backstage, and what a good time. Wow. So, and I'm saying stuff that you know, like you're here, you wouldn't be here if you didn't know that. But anyway, please sit back, relax, and just enjoy what they have to offer this evening.
Hello. I'm a little shorter. Oh my. Okay, there we go. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, you guys I am Julia. I am from the Bookstore in Powder Springs. You guys are amazing. We are so excited to have Kendra here. I wanted to, thank the church volunteers and the staff at the church. Amazing opportunity. As you've seen, everything was flowing nicely in here. It's been great. They've been doing this for a long time, so thank you guys so much. Also, Joe, who you met up front, and sitting up here at the stage, who kind of told us we were starting just a few minutes late. Thank him and he's from Georgia Center for Books and Decatur Library. Amazing time. We wanted to make sure you guys knew that the event will be recorded, and it's going to be available on the church's website, library's website, as well as the Bookworm. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough. We have some amazing events happening. We are in Powder Springs. I know you guys have some great bookstores in Decatur. We are all big partners, and supporting indies is absolutely amazing, so I thank you. I am going to introduce our moderator, or I'm actually going to introduce and welcome to the stage Aaron H. Moon, who's going to, I know, right? Wait, I feel a little bad right now. I'm gonna do this, wait, can we do this again?
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the stage. Can you welcome me to
I'm going to introduce Julia from the Bookworm. There you go. Hello and welcome to the book launch party for The Plan by Kendra Adachi, the Lazy Genius. Look at all of you. This is so fun. Before we get started, it is my joy and pleasure to introduce our moderator for the evening. She is the co-host of not one, but two nationally ranked podcasts, The Popcast with Knox and Jamie, and the best one, Faith Adjacent. No, I'm not biased or anything. I'm not biased. She is everyone's favorite skincare influencer and ADHD survivor. Please help me welcome to the stage, Jamie B. Golden.
Hi. Hello. I'm so excited to see all of you. Oh my gosh, how excited are we for this? We are so excited about the plan because we are going to become better people, okay? Because we stink as people and we need to be better. And now there's a plan that's going to help us be better. We're so excited. So for those who don't know, Aaron was so kind to introduce me. So I have a podcast called The Popcast, which is fine. And then, because we're in a church, so I have to focus on Faith Adjacent, which is a little bit of sacrilege, but I haven't caught on fire tonight, so I feel at home here. Also, we were greeted by a man in a Kamala hat who offered us whiskey, and we were like, I don't think this is Southern Baptist. This is different. Let me show you. I'm gonna do it. I know, listen, Bob's like already upset. I'm gonna get you to the next slide. So we're gonna go to the next slide. Maybe we're gonna go to the next slide. This is not awkward. Talk amongst yourselves. The topic is barrel jeans. Do we like them? All right, we're gonna move ahead. on, oh good, you are talking about it. I like this. Yay! Okay, we're gonna go back. I don't think my clicker's working, so we're gonna go back a slide. We're doing great. Oh, there we go, I got it. We did it! All right. Okay, I wanna tell you how I met Kendra. So, This Is Us. We are just like the TV show This Is Us. We are emotional porn in every way. Wait, I was told that this is going on the church's website, so that will be the last time I say porn tonight. Okay. All right, so let's talk about how we met. We had a Gmail meet cute. Now, the meet cutes are normally accidental, like, oh my God, I spilled my drink on your hot body. Okay, that's not what happened here. Kendra actually emailed me and said, hey, can we be friends? And that had never happened to me before, and guess what? It worked. So she emailed me on, you can see, January 29th, 2016. We've been friends a really long time. And I replied 3 weeks later and said, okay, yeah, we're friends in real life. Okay. So that is my email response time. Aaron can confirm. So then the best part was, we met in real life at a podcast live show in Raleigh, North Carolina, at a wedding venue, because that is where live podcasts happen. This is also a wedding venue, technically. So, and then we just became friends. Like, we kept, seeing each other, because we were, into each other. And we became friends, and I showed her things on my phone. She would come through town, and I would say hello, and we would eat food. We went to New York. We've been to New York City together twice, because we both just want to, sleep in and then go see Broadway shows and then sleep in more. So we're very good at traveling together. And then, all right, so remember how I told you that this was going to be on the church website? So I was going to share with you the name of our mastermind, but it's Period Panties. And so we had to make some decisions. I also had to talk to Bob, who works here in tech, and explain why I needed him to change that to PP. But we joined a mastermind. So this is our business group. You can see here, this is Laura Tremaine. We joined with blondes, which is not normally something brunettes like to do, but they are great. And this is Laura Tremaine and Bree McCoy, and we've been in a mastermind together for almost 6 years, and we've been helping each other build up. Since we started, they together have published 7 books. 7. That's amazing. I have published 1 photo in my Instagram feed this year. Thank you. Thank you. Like and subscribe. Okay. Now, the real test of friendship is if you let someone stay at your house. And I let her stay at my house. She came to town because Aaron was turning 40. We had an 80s birthday party. I dressed as baby Jessica from The Well. I too got out. And then Kendra went so hard in the paint as an evil queen from a movie that no one at this party had seen. And she just owned it all night. And that is what I love about Kendra Adachi. So, tonight, let me set some ground rules. One of the Lazy Genius principles is ask the magic question, which is, what can we do now to make something easier later? So later, we're gonna have a Q&A. You're gonna get to come to a mic. Erin's gonna be there waiting for you, at the pearly gates, okay? She's gonna hold your hand while you ask to be lazy genius in real time. So you can ask Kendra about how to lazy genius something in your own life. Now, I wanna set some ground rules so that it can be easier later. We don't wanna start with you in the 6th grade, okay? We don't need to start with how great you were at the trombone when you joined the middle school band, okay? We wanna start with as little detail as possible so we can get to as many folks when we get to the Q&A later in the night. So, think about your questions now. When we call you up, we'll start a little line and we'll get to ask some questions. And she's gonna lazy genius your life. You're gonna be a better person for it. All right, so it's time. we need to invite out our beloved, the lazy genius of our hearts, our minds, our souls. Please welcome Kendra Adachi. Okay, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I need water because I was laughing so hard back there at you.
Oh, what? Thanks. I'll give you that 10.
Real quick,
later.
do y'all see that Jamie's on my shirt? I just want you to know I've got Jamie's face on my shirt today.
She does have me on her shirt. I don't have her, so if someone can knit me up that real quick and make her face on your shirt, I'll wear it next time. All right, so in the room, as you know, Kendra is the lazy genius, okay? And she has done that through now her third book. She has a literally top 200 podcast called The Lazy Genius, where she helps people be lazy.
You can do it.
Be lazy about.
You got it.
See, I only do the lazy part, so I don't know the genius about things that, lazy about things that matter. Genius about things that matter, lazy about things that don't.
She nailed it.
Okay.
Well done.
All right. So in the room, I think that most of us are a mix of that, right? And that's your goal, your dream for us.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
But I also think that some of us are very clearly in one camp. And so just a real quick show of hands. How many of you would say, I fall in the lazy camp? You are safe here.
That's right. That's right.
You are safe here. How many of you think you're better than the rest of us and fall into the genius camp?
They're afraid.
God,
They're so afraid
How many of you don't raise your hand in public? Thank you. I see you. You are seen. You are seen. Okay, so let's talk about, since we're talking about lazy genius, and you're going to lazy genius some of them later.
Sure.
Which sounds, again, more erotic than I mean for it to.
It's fine.
Again, welcome to the church website, viewers. Let's do a little lazy geniusing for some people that we love.
Love it.
Okay, so let's start with Fleabag and the Hot Priest. Okay, so if you don't know, Fleabag, 2 seasons, Amazon, stream it. You can skip season 1.
Skip
you
season
can.
1.
You
It doesn't
can skip
matter.
season 1. Go straight to season 2. These two, this scene, we're gonna say that it ends differently. And I know, I don't wanna spoil it, but it's been 5 years. You should watch stuff. That's not on me. So let's say they stay together forever. And they're dating and they're romantic and it's lovely, as Catholic priests often do. And so what can we do? How can we help these two breathe some new, using the plan, using your strategies of lazy geniusing life, how can we breathe some new life into their romance?
I haven't seen any of these slides. Just for clarification.
Yes.
Coming in fresh. So I would say for these two, chemistry is not their problem.
No.
So it feels more like a calendar logistics situation to me because he's at the church and she's at the cafe. So this feels like a really good decide once opportunity.
Okay.
Because she goes to Quaker meeting with him. He goes to Chatty Wednesdays at the thing. Not many people have seen Fleabag yet. But I think that and then they drink a gin and tonic out of a can. I think that they just are like, this is what we're doing. Because listen, isn't that how? Think about like buddies that you have had or crushes that you have had. And when you guys have something that's just yours, it's like very special. And so that feels like a really good use of decide once for me.
That's right. So if you are trying to figure out how to love the person you're with, tonight or otherwise, decide once.
Decide once. That's
Decide
right.
once. Okay. The other people we love Liz Lemon. All right. Now, Liz Lemon, as we know, works way too much and is very rare to have a personal life, work-life balance. Okay. So for those people here that raise their hand when we ask who is genius, that struggle to have balance? Yeah, you do. I know. What are 2 tips you would give Liz Lemon to have better balance in her life?
I feel like Liz is actually more genius than we give her credit for.
Oh, yeah.
Because Liz has named what matters. Sandwiches.
Yes.
Cheese. Going to sleep without having to do funny business first.
she, you know, like she sort of has named it already. So I think really her problem, she needs to read the plan, because once she receives the permission of, you don't have to be great at everything, Liz. You don't actually have to have it all. You can just be a whole person and do what matters to you. And I think she's actually ahead of us in many ways.
Ah, so that's good. So for those of us who do not have a work-life balance, I'm not saying it's me, but I need to name what matters.
Well, I think you
Which
need
is
to,
also cheese, by the way.
That's right. That's right. You do need to name what matters, but as you all will learn when you read the plan, because this is the part of the plan I get really, really feisty about. Greatness is in the water, everybody. Mastery's in the water. I'm getting serious, so hold on. It's in the water. And everybody's telling you got to be great at everything. You got to be great. You got to have it all. And you actually don't. The new goal is that you can just be yourself wherever you are as you are today. And that changes everything for everyone in here and also for Liz.
That's good. That's good.
You don't have to, it's fine. But yeah. And cheese. Cheese
That's
is great.
good. Bow your heads. We're gonna, no. Okay, next. Now, I know your passion for Sherlock.
I love Sherlock so
I know,
much.
okay. So, Sherlock, the issue with Sherlock is he lives in a very messy apartment, which drives Mrs. Hudson very mad. Lots of eyeballs, lots of dirt and clutter. Some of us live like that. Maybe not as many eyeballs, but dirt and clutter. Okay? What's a matrix? What's an ideal? What's a strategy that Sherlock could use in the midst of living a very messy life?
I love that we could put a matrix on Sherlock for his house. So Sherlock is a good example of someone who is like, I have actually chosen greatness to be my goal. I am going to be great, because some people need to do that because we need surgeons and like vaccines and bridges and stuff. So there need to be people who are like, I am actually going to ignore these other things that other people see as important, at least in this season, because I am going to be great. That is what is required of greatness. Sherlock doesn't care about people, and so that's an easy choice for him to do, I would assume.
Right, very
And so I don't think he needs a matrix. I think maybe Mrs. Hudson needs to match her expectations to the energy he is willing to give.
So I like that. Do you have to have an important job to not care about your clutter? Like podcasting. I'm asking for a friend. Is that okay?
It's totally okay.
Okay, good. All right, next. Here we go. Yeah. You just outed yourself, didn't you? Because some people don't know who these are. First of all, I'm going to say one of their names, and like we learned from Erin yesterday, she did not know it was Feyre. She was like, Fair? So she's been saying it wrong for 7 books. So this is Feyre and Rhys. Feyre and Rhys they're leading the night court in Decatur, A Court of Thorn and Roses series, which has sold maybe as many books as you. So that's exciting.
That's cute.
That's
sure.
adorable. All right. So the night court is very demanding, and often in partnerships, whether they're romantic or otherwise, but often in romantic partnerships, you can have a difficulty with division of labor. So how would you advise Feyre and Rhys in how they handle the division of labor?
Don't they have like a staff? Don't they like run the people?
Okay, so we want to make it more practical for the audience. Okay.
I'm too literal, you guys.
I know. I'm like,
no,
but
I
like,
don't think
let's
they would
pretend they live in Ohio. Okay. They're in a subdivision with an HOA. Okay, go.
I can't step away from the. They need to stop having sex for long enough to talk about
True.
how they're going to
You
divide
can't do division
the
of
labor.
labor. You can't multitask. Oh, okay. Well,
I don't
that's
think they can. I feel like we just need to move on.
Okay, we will. I don't know that it's gonna get easier. Okay.
There's a screen back here, you guys. That's why I'm looking lovingly.
Right.
Up
She's
at the
looking
top.
lovingly at the Lord. All right, so James McAvoy is a very famous actor. He's beloved. We got to see him in a play once.
He did. He was so
It was
good.
overwhelming and so
He
good.
was like right there where you are high. He was right there.
I know. We could smell him. It was good. So James McAvoy, Lazy Genius. I just wanted to look at him, but that's why I put him in the deck.
Thank you.
But
That's
also,
so kind.
James McAvoy is your favorite celebrity. Is
Yes.
he? Yes.
He's my favorite celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. That's right.
I'd say that's fair. Yeah, maybe he's my
God,
favorite
when you
celebrity.
ask a 1 what their favorite is, an Enneagram 1.
Listen, I did an event 2 nights ago with Emily P. Freeman, who some of you in this room
We love
probably
Emily.
Yes, we love. Round of applause for Emily. And before, she was like, "Do you want to hear the questions beforehand?" And I said, only if they have the word, only if there is a list or the word most in the question, because I can't spitball most because it has to be correct. And she said, "Kendra, some things are not correct. Not everything has to be correct." And I looked at her and I said, "It's really cute that you think that."
I know. And she said it in that soothing Emily P. Freeman
She did.
voice.
She did.
The next right thing.
That was not it.
No. I got to do it. All right, so if James McAvoy, now what you don't know is Erin Moon, who you met earlier. Erin is actually your muse.
She is, you guys.
And what does that mean? What does that mean that she's your muse?
The boring answer is you're supposed to write to one person when you write a book, not to everybody, because then you miss everybody if you try to hit everybody. So you write to one person and you make it as specific as possible, and it's weirdly relevant to more. And I made up a fake lady named Melissa in 2018 or 19. And then I met Erin and hung out with Erin, and I was like, oh, Erin's Melissa, but like cooler. And I can call her on the phone. Melissa is pretend.
Yes.
So I started writing to Erin and for Erin.
So why did you not choose me? Is it because I don't have children or a spouse and I do what I want when I want?
It's that last part that's the
Right.
big one.
I thought it was that. All right. Does James McAvoy inspire your work?
He makes me smile.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. So let's talk about the plan. Let's sit back like we're serious now. Although when I sit back, I cannot. I'm gonna scoot a little up.
I'll scoot forward
okay,
with you.
because I'll fall over. All right, let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the plan. Everybody, who got the plan? Who has it?
Nice. Oh, I love that they're waving them in the air.
I know, I love it. Okay, and if
So
you haven't
fun.
gotten the plan, this is a safe space, but only until the end of the night. And then you'll need to get the plan. We want you to buy it or request it from perhaps the Decatur Library or your library where you live. But let's talk about it. So you literally told me that you felt like this was your book to write. Like this was meant for you to write it. So for you, when did you know that? Like when did you know it was your book to write? Was it as you were writing it or was it long before?
I think it was at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was at the end.
Why? What happened at the end?
Well, at the end, I was like, man, this is really good and feels really important. But also, I think, not to go really sad, but Jamie's used to that. Like, I just have like a lot of dark things happen to me as a child, and so I think that I love that no one's like, we can't laugh at that.
No.
It's like the alchemy of going through trauma. I won't talk about it anymore after that.
Listen, if we only do trauma from here on out, we'll sit back.
I think there she goes. There we go. We're ready. We're
We'll talk
ready.
about trauma.
Having trauma in my life, being an Enneagram 1, which listen, raise your hand if you guys, we're a lot. Okay? We think we're not. We are. So having that, being an Enneagram 1, and being naturally interested in, and I think gifted in sort of making complicated things feel more simple. That's something that I've been doing since I was a kid, really. I was like always the hall monitor and the group project leader and whatever, it's fine. I don't resent that at all, doing all the work for everyone else. But then also having that plus years of therapy and really fulfilling relationships and people that have loved me in all the different times and ways. And it just sort of expanded this thing in me of I feel very uniquely equipped to encourage and even equip people to do the things that matter, to get their stuff done, to do the things that matter to them, but somehow keep so much humanity in it, because it's really hard to find both of those in books and in this space. And so I'm not trying to be like, I'm a trailblazer, but I do think because I'm not, but I do think that I felt like literally in my spirit, the ease of writing this book was surprising to me. And so I just felt this ease in me of this is, I don't want to say, it's not what it was all for. Because you don't have to have like something shiny at the end of your dark journey for it to count. Please hear that. Good. It's a gift, though, to me that's been redeemed in a really cool way, and now it's in this book. And I've had like friends who are counselors. I'm friends with so many therapists, you guys. It's sort of absurd. And they're like reading it, and they're texting me and sending me DMs, and they're like, I'm going to give this to all my clients. Like, this is so trauma-informed and helpful, because they see a lot of women who are like y'all in this room. And so it's really, really special, and it feels very beyond me in a way that feels really significant and special, and I love it, yeah.
You know, one of the things that Kendra has taught me in our literal 8 years of friendship is the difference in confidence and arrogance. I think if you grew up in spaces that tried to make women small, or just by their very nature of how they were built, kept women small, it might have been in your family, in your school, in your church, in your community, in America, that you have taught me so much about know your worth and know what your value is that you're bringing to the table. And I think a lot of us as women struggle with that because they're like, well, I have to take up less space so that a man can stand over me, right? And I think writing something that you know you were meant to write, that you know people are meant to read, I think that no matter what your job is, know that it's yours to do and that you're the one doing it, and sit in that confidence where you are. And if you're not in the space where you're like, oh, I do not feel that right here, right now, find the place where you can feel that. And it doesn't have to be your vocation. It doesn't have to be a book you write. It can just be the way that you are in your family, in your community, in your church, in America, in all the places. Be confident. And I'm so grateful for that gift that you've given to me. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're going to have to deal with my confidence. It's her fault. So, all right. So speaking of women, you have said, and you say in the book, that 93% of time management books are written by men. Which that was a startling stat to me, like truly, because I was like, no, it's like 20. No, the 20 women, I think it's actually only 20 women.
20 women, yeah.
Total. And a lot of us have read, how many of you have read more than 3 time management books? Some of us are searching. We are trying. We are trying to fix something in us, right? But why do you think women have been left out? Because I think about all the time, and I think Atomic Habits is a good book, but if you read the book, there are hardly any examples of women referenced in the book. All the pages. And I wonder, why do you think women have been left out of this conversation?
Well, women have been left out of most things for a long time, so I think that's part of it. But what's really fascinating to me, and what kind of lit the fire in me to write this book, because at first I really did think I was writing this book for women. It was like, this is going to be a time management book for women. We'll get to the expansion of that probably later on. I'll find a way to work it in. But I think that the sad thing is that while 93% of books are written by men, a majority of the marketing of those books is to women. I read a meme tweet, something on the internet. I saw a thing on the internet, and somebody said, my Roman Empire is that self-help books, or time management books for women are in the self-help section, and for men, they're in the business section. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not that women are left out of the conversation.
Okay.
Women are very much included in the conversation of, hey, this book would be really great for you, but it's because we're under so much pressure to check more boxes than we are capable of, than we even want to, that no one else is expected to check. And we're kept on the treadmill of, well, maybe this one more book. One more book will fix it. One more book will fix it. Women, ladies. And so we are in the conversation, but we are not in the information. We are not sharing. We're not part of the dissemination of that information. 7% of it's Eve Rodsky, Laura Vanderkam, and me. Like, there's not very many of us. And so, I don't want to get too much into the patriarchy, I suppose.
Who does want to get too much into the patriarchy?
It makes me a little upset. But I do want to say, and I've said this in a couple of different interviews or whatever, it is not that those 93%, those dudes, and the things in their books are wrong. They are just woefully incomplete. That's all it is. This is not an us versus them situation. This is not these dudes are stupid. They're not. Like, there are a lot of really smart, helpful things that probably the people who raised their hand who read some of those books are using in their lives. It's not that they're not saying good things. They just have a very different experience than y'all in this room. And so the tools that they're sharing are incomplete, and we need more comprehensive tools for everybody.
I love that. Yes.
I love being clapped for in a church.
I know.
It's like feels
Have we
weird.
ever been clapped for on a church stage?
No, it feels so weird.
No, this is. Should we sing? Shout to the Lord. Okay, so let me ask
really
you
good
this.
vibrato. That was nice.
So you talked about the expansion and that you would work it in. Okay.
Okay, great, cool. Thank you for that. Okay, so I started out finding this 93% thing and was like, we need a time management book for women. And then as I started to explore the industry as a whole and saw that the goal of all of those books is some version of greatness. It is some version of optimization. It is some version of leveling up yourself, leveling up all the things that you are doing. And I just went, I think there are a lot of people who don't want that as their goal. Like, it's not just women. There are men that are like, yeah, this just isn't working. Like, I just don't think that this is working. And so it started out as a time management book for women. We're marketing it as such because 98% of my audience is women, as you can see in this room. But it actually moved into the space of being for people who just want to value contentment. Like, it's okay that things are this way. And not in a complacent way, not in a like, I'm just going to give up, but that is where you begin. It's not to the exclusion of the other thing. Your contentment is not to the exclusion of you being ambitious or great or being awesome at something. You're all awesome at something. So they're not canceling each other out. But what a gift to start from greatness. I did, it will probably come up later when we do our Q&A, but yesterday I did an event in Raleigh and we had a Q&A, and it was wild how every single question that everybody asked, that they were struggling with something, that we could get down to, what if you changed your goal? That sounds like someone who's living from a goal of greatness. And it's just this thing that it's going to take some time for us to unlearn and relearn, because it is not anywhere else. We live in America. The American dream is literally to hustle and meet your potential and strive and dream big and all these things. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But if that is what you think is necessary for you to have a valuable, purposeful life, you will always be behind. You will always be discontent. You will always be buying more time management books, or not out of protest because none of them work, but then you're still stuck. We need a new goal, and not just for women. I think it'd be better if everybody started to think this way.
Right. Okay, so talking about changing the goal, if you could, like Harry Potter, like put a wand over, is that what Harry Potter does? He puts a wand over a line of thinking in time management or productivity culture that drives you crazy, that you wish you could eliminate, just with like a Harry Potter spell, what would you do?
I know I said I wouldn't say this again. It would be eliminato.
Yes, thank you.
Patriarchio. that work? Maybe?
So how does that apply? How does that apply practically to us? Like, if I mean, God, we just
How does eliminating the patriarchy apply practically to
Yeah,
us?
I'm looking. It's tough. It's tough. But I'm thinking about like, is it that I don't think about that as much as I'm living my life? If I let that go, that idea that like other people's expectations that have been set do not have to be my expectations. Is that what it is?
So it is partly that. I think sometimes, though, that might be actually the area where we get a little bit stuck, because then we sort of feel like, well, now I have to like stand up to everybody all the time. You know, there's sort of this like, somebody over here laughed. She's like, yes, that's exactly me. It's almost like, I don't want that to sound like you have to become something you're not. That suddenly you have to walk in rooms, you know, torches blazing, trying to burn everything down. Because it could be that a lot of the places that you are, you actually really like them. I mean, they're working like pretty fine. They're fine. But I think practically what we're missing is like, for example, last night a woman asked, she said, okay, so I am a mother of twins, triplets. There's 3 of them.
Identical?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Okay. That's a choice. Identical is different than not identical or just roommates. The what? No. Go ahead.
I forget how much you care about twins.
Guys. Does anybody here have twins? You're the best people in here. Unless they're fraternal and then you're just average. Okay.
There it is.
True.
So this woman, a mother of triplets who had just gone to college. So she had been mothering really intensely for a very long time. And then her kids went to college. And she also, I think, like, sort of retired from the job that she was doing. So all of a sudden she was doing everything, and then suddenly she was doing nothing. And her question to me was like, what do I do? How do I make the most of this? Do you hear it? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's very practical. We think that we have to, I got a DM, I wanted to crawl through my phone to this woman who was like, I just had my second baby and I was really stressed out about it. And it's actually been really great. She's like, sleeping well, I love being with my kids. And she said, what do I do? How do I enjoy this in the best way possible? And I said, you just be with your babies. You don't need to do anything. Just be where you are. No one teaches us how to be where we are and to be okay with it, that this is good here right now, that it's not necessarily even about your circumstances. It's about how you see them. Because I've been a mom of 2 tiny babies, same circumstances, and I was like, well, this is terrible. I hate every minute of this. I don't know if I've told this story before. Any Lazy Sisters listeners in here? Did anybody ever listen to it? Yeah, okay. So when Ben, my second, was born, so Sam was 2 and running around everywhere, and Ben was tiny, and Ben it doesn't matter. He had lots of medical problems in the beginning. It did matter. I didn't mean that. It did matter.
Wow.
I caught it.
Yeah, you caught it.
But he was jaundiced, and he had to lay on one of those, he had to have one of those lights on him 23 hours a day. And my sister came over, and she said, what can I do? And I said, can you hold Ben? I've just been holding him forever. She was like, yes. I leave the room. I take a shower. I wash dishes. I do so many things. I go back 2 hours later. Hannah is still. And I walked in, and she said, what's going on? I said, how long do you think you've been in here? She's like, 15 minutes. Psychotic. It's like, no, it was 2 hours. What is wrong with you? So it's interesting, right, how we can all have the same circumstances. But based on the energy that we have right then, based on our personality, based on something from our history, some conversation we had with a member of our family of origin, there are so many different things that can make us sort of just feel different things and therefore interpret our circumstances differently. And if we have the lens of we have to maximize and make the most of whatever circumstances are in front of us. This is why we burn out. This is why we're like, I got to take a vacation. This is why you dream about leaving your family and going to open a lobster roll stand in Maine. We all have one. We all have that like imaginary like second life. That's mine. But when you change the goal to wholeness and integration and contentment with where you are, you do not ask me, how do I make the most of this? You don't do that anymore. So it's not about burning down rooms and yelling in institutions. It can be. But you can also just in your own life quietly be where you are. And that's really good work.
That's really good work. Okay. Yes, that's really good work. Speaking of good work, you wrote this book, and in chapter 17, you talk about strategies. And in that particular chapter, you talk about planning a project. And this was a big project for you, and it was your third book. How did it look different than the first two in executing it, both good or bad?
Well, the first one, I took 9 months to write, and I wrote an entire book before I found The Lazy Genius Way. I wrote 55,000 words that I threw away to try to find the book. So that wasn't super fun.
No, I got those calls.
Yeah,
they
you
were
did.
not fun. I was like, wait, but none of them were good?
They
None
were
of
all
those words?
terrible. But the thing that was so interesting about writing that first book is I thought, because I had not necessarily absorbed this whole you don't have to master everything, Kendra, you don't have to be great. I'm still working on it because, again, I'm an Enneagram 1. That's going to be lifelong work for me to not feel like I have to be the best at things. But I thought that you wrote a book from word 1 to word 55,000 in chronological order, and it would be like pretty good on the first go. Erin's laughing harder than any of you because she's done it and she knows what a stupid thing that is.
Yeah.
That's a stupid expectation. So, but I didn't know any different. And so that one was very stressful and awful, and I hated it.
Okay.
Kitchen, I had to write in 10 weeks. And if you recall, that one fell in the ocean. So that book was a journey. But I don't think I had the time to even process what that project was. It was just like everybody, what do you do with hatches?
Bury them.
No, not hatchets.
Oh. I'm doing Taylor Swift lyrics, but you remember where you bury them.
No, I meant like, isn't that a boat thing? Like batten down the hatches?
Batten down the hatches.
They know. Bury them?
I'm the wrong moderator for this part. Like, just a heads up.
That was my favorite thing ever. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, my whole family, because I was like, 10 weeks, everybody.
Like, so I just went away for several weekends, da-da-da-da. So that one wasn't really, nothing was planned. It was chaos because it had to be done so quickly. So with this book, what was great is I actually was able to, as I would encourage us all to do, even things that go really poorly, even hard seasons that you're in, they all really do have something to teach you. Not in an annoying, stupid way. In like it's a gift because you are becoming more of yourself with all the things that you're going through. And so I was a chaotic first book writer and thought it needed to be perfect. And so I learned from that, no, you have to write a lot of bad words before you write good words. That's just how it goes.
What bad words?
I know
did
you were going
write?
to say that. That was the slow pitch.
Do they rhyme with hatches?
What rhymes with hatches?
You have to have an accent.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
With kitchen, I did learn the value of longer stretches of uninterrupted time, that was something that was really helpful for me in writing the book. And so with this third book, I knew that already. And I was like, okay, let's mark off 4 4-day weekends. I stayed at the same Airbnb as I did for kitchen. I went to the same restaurants that I did for kitchen. Like it was very decide once. It's like, okay, here we go. This is what we're doing. This space works. There's a beautiful bathtub in this Airbnb, lots of windows. This thing is working for me. And so I booked 4 weekends and did the bulk of the structuring of the book in those times. And then I learned like, okay, we need, because if any of you have children, even when they are not with you, they find a way to interrupt you. If my 14-year-old son texts me one more time from school that is a 10-minute drive from me, Mom, I forgot my pen. Can you bring me my pen? No, sir, I will not. I love you so much. Absolutely not. So I learned that trying to fit, and I think this is true of a lot of projects, but it's good for you to pay attention to what works for you. And that's kind of what this whole thing is about, is you're paying attention and noticing what you personally need. But I was like, I need one book writing day a week. I need my 4 weekends. And then once we get to the end, I'll hustle. But I don't need to start hustling. It's going to be fine. It'll work out. We're going to trust future Kendra.
And future Kendra did it.
Future Kendra did it.
She did it. All right, so one of your Lazy Genius principles is start small. And a lot of the folks here have already done that by starting small, by buying the plan. That's the small thing they've done, right? What is a tip that you could give everybody that they could take from the plan? That's like, here's a start small way from the plan that you can use in your everyday life.
This is small in the sense that it's one thing, but it is what I already said. Pay attention to when you are trying to make the most of something. And it's not that you have to stop. I just want you to notice, is this goal like placed properly? Am I doing this because I'm swimming in the water of the goal of greatness? Or am I doing this because I actually really care about this thing? Or because this thing is definitely required of me, like my job or whatever. But if you have to be great in a season of your job that takes a lot of energy out of you, can I tell you what you're not going to be great at? Dinner. And a long other list of things. But ultimately, when I say that changing your goal, like if you guys just start paying attention, like it's happening to me all the time. And I wrote the dang thing. I'm like, here's the thing. I realized yesterday driving to Raleigh, do you know why it's so hard for you guys to name what matters? That's one of the biggest questions I get. That and how do I lazy genius sex? I am not kidding. I get that in my DMs all the time. All the time.
I'm going to change my questions real quick. We're going to work it in. Oh, is that it?
No, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. But the question I get asked the most is, I'm having trouble naming what matters. I'm having trouble. Do you know why I think that is? Because we're trying to be great at everything. If you're living, and it's just kind of a broad amoebic sort of idea. That's why it's an interesting answer to a start small question. Because it's not a small thing, but it is a singular thing. That if you really start to notice where you are going, oh, that's a mastery thing, that's a greatness thing, that's a being on the machine thing, and you shift and you go, I'm going to be who I am right now, independent of my circumstances, first. You do pay attention to your circumstances, but you start with who you are where you are right now, and honor her and be kind to her, show compassion to her, tell her that good is here right now and that she's okay. And from that place, you go, okay, how do we tackle these circumstances? It's very small. It's very nuanced. But it is deeply significant and just creates just the widest change in your life. And that's why I want people, if you don't read anything else in the entire book, if you just read the chapter on that and then just sit with that for as long as it takes. That's it.
God, you can have another book on your how many books did I read this year?
You can count it. You can count it and just read the one chapter and then stop.
Okay, so when you start this book, you gently kind of lead us into like, hey, here's what time management isn't. Here is what the goal isn't. Here is how you can start small and name what matters, right? And then you hit us with the plan, like in chapter 4. And I will tell you, I mean this with all sincerity, that when I was reading chapter 4, I just had to close the book. I like to read in one sitting and move through it and be like, I'm a better person now. I know all the things. But after that, I was like, oh, that's the gospel. Like, not only like the literal gospel, hey God, how you doing? But there was so much truth in chapter 4 that I thought was really meaningful. So would you read a little bit from chapter 4 from us?
I will. I'm so glad you have a book because I left mine at the hotel. I mean, I figured one of you would let me borrow one. There's a lot of them here. Okay. Now we're entering the part of the book where you choose the red pill or the blue pill, the Barbie heels or the Birkenstocks. Now is when you consider what you thought you knew about time management and decide if you want to stay there or learn the truth and try something different. But first, let's review what you're constantly being told. Time is controllable. You can craft a life where all your goals come true. Simply dream big and don't give up. Never be satisfied with second best. Stay focused. Be disciplined. If you don't have a life you love, you're not trying hard enough. Or maybe you chose in the wrong path. But don't let anyone else tell you if you should change your path. You are the creator of your destiny. You have to outwork everybody else. You can do everything you set out to do. You can fulfill your dreams. Turns out the good life is made of motivational cat posters. And you feel its flimsiness. You know something is off, but you can't quite place it. You can see the glitch in the matrix. Still, you don't have an alternative, so you follow the path of productivity. Set purposeful goals, design a plan to get you there, follow it exactly every single day, and eventually you will have a smooth, satisfying, possibly even epic life. But the reality is that smooth turns bumpy on a dime because something disrupts your carefully constructed plan. Hormones, a moody kid, a boss making you work late, a global tragedy you feel powerless to alleviate, a benign post on Instagram that makes you feel terrible about yourself, the discovery that your teenager did not actually do the homework she said she did. I changed the pronouns to she so Sam would not know it was about him. The audacity of a three-way stop. Jamie knows how much I hate them because I vox her when I'm driving. Loneliness and grief and death and heartache. You can't put those things in a life optimization plan. As Oliver Burkeman, the author of 4,000 Weeks, puts it, when you're trying to master your time, few things are more infuriating than a task or delay that's foisted upon you against your will, with no regard for the schedule you've painstakingly drawn up in your overpriced notebook. Oliver, you're killing me. When that delay is something deeply human, emotional, or outside your control, the system falls apart. And yet, we're told that when we hit that bump, that delay, that inconvenience, our linear plans must stay in place. Stay dedicated, the experts say. Be disciplined. If you give up now, what kind of person does that make you? I don't know, Mr. Expert, but based on your tone, I'm guessing it isn't good. So even though you're physically exhausted, emotionally wiped, and possibly shedding uterine lining, you are expected to work the plan. You force yourself onto the treadmill. You wash the dishes because experts say to wake up with a clean kitchen. You journal or meditate or lay out your outfit because you said you would. And if you don't, you are the problem. Now, I don't want to knock commitment or discipline. Both are great. And maybe for you, they work. Maybe you're glad you stayed committed, and now you wait for tomorrow to do it again. But a lot of people have different experiences. I sure do. Bless you. I don't feel satisfied when I force myself to push through, ignoring what I know to be right in my body. If I'm at the end of a day and have unchecked items on my to-do list, I might reluctantly choose to complete them, but I resent it because I really just want to go to bed. Finishing the list never feels like it's for me. But if I do decide to quit the plan, whether for tonight or forever, I don't resent the plan. I resent myself because I wasn't disciplined enough to do what I said I would do. And guess what happens next? I buy another planner. I try another system. I read another book. I stay on the machine whose sole purpose is to keep me there. That's the glitch in the matrix. You keep thinking that one more try will get you there. One more hack, book, course, app, or journal will put you on the path everyone else seems to be on. Listen to me right now. I wrote that. Listen to me right now. That path isn't real. Not for you and me. It's not worth chasing because we were never meant to catch it. Not only is the system not for us, the actual mechanics aren't even that great. Linear planning is not resilient. It's not made to withstand disruptions or be nimble. Your choices are all or nothing, and if you choose nothing, you clearly don't have what it takes. What a vibe. Still, it's no wonder we believe it, even in part. We've been taught, implicitly and explicitly, that the best way to be a person is to seek greatness through an imagined future and stay the course no matter what. And in some ways, that's the American dream. And while that dream might occasionally work for a select few, I'd like a different dream. My guess is you would too. That's why you're reading this book. So let's do it. Let's find a different dream. Allow me to introduce you to the plan.
Thank you. All right. That was lovely. Thank you. So let's take some questions. So if you're here and you're like, this is my one shot, Fancy, don't let me down. We're going to have a mic. Erin's going to join us. She's going to be our question guru. You're going to come to the front now. Just scooch out of your pew like you're going up front to get saved. And because you kind of are. So
You have got to stop comparing me to the Holy Spirit. You
my
got
bad.
to stop.
My bad. Thank you. Thank you, Brave
Get
Soul.
it. Do
Thank
it.
you.
Let's
okay.
do it. Okay, I'm going to stand up.
All right. Give us a question.
There they come.
Here
Okay,
they come.
Also, we got to say, we're going to try to get
You
through
were the
everybody.
trailblazer
So,
that did it.
but we might
My
not.
heart is beating so fast.
Okay, and let me give one tip to anybody who comes up to the mic. Make sure that you're like making out with
You're
it
making
just
out
a
with it.
little bit. You're going to be really tight on it.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Ariel, and I live up in Cobb County. So my question for you is, do you know anything about neurodiversity, ADHD, autism? I have...
She does.
I am a recently diagnosed autistic, and it changes everything. And I have read every book. I'm a learner. My brain loves it. I have tried. I've read 4,000 Weeks. I've read everything. And not only is this world not necessarily made for women, it was not created for the neurodiverse.
That's absolutely right.
So if you know something about those two topics, I'm so excited to read this because I'm not only trying to find a plan, I'm trying to find one that works for my very unique brain.
So your question is this book going to work for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was so sweet how she asked it.
It really was.
Yeah.
So for anyone else who might feel the same or has someone in your life who is that way, so I am not an expert. I'm not an expert at all. I have a kid who was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and I have another kid who it's a possibility that he has autism. However, I'm not an expert, but I talk about neurodivergency in the book here and there, for sure. It is mentioned because you are left out of the conversation, 100%. Because there is a very narrow, normative way that we are taught to organize and plan our lives. And so if you don't fall into that normative path, nothing works for you. So this is a very fluid, versatile approach that a number of ADHD counsel, the people who are experts, have read The Lazy Genius Way, and a few of them have read the plan, and they have said, this is so helpful for my clients.
I am so excited.
So
Thank you.
it's not a promise, but I think it will leave you feeling better than maybe some of the other ones that you've read.
Well, I follow you on social media, so after I read it, I will let
You
you
let me know.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Actually, if it didn't work, don't tell me.
Thank
If
you,
it didn't work,
Ariel.
don't tell me. No, I'm kidding. Okay, hi.
Hi, Kendra. I had a question for you about your book, but then on the way over here, I realized I also had a dilemma that I would like to Lazy Genius, so I'll use this Q&A to do that. I have a brilliant, sweet 7-year-old boy who found at a thrift shop an inflatable sumo suit
Rad.
to wear for Halloween.
Okay.
It is fantastic and hilarious, but he takes it quite seriously.
Is he wearing it all the time?
He does not want anyone to laugh at him
Oh.
because it's like,
That's so tender.
yeah, it's very sweet.
So are you trying to encourage his love of this suit
I'm trying to
and manage his expectations of people's response to it?
make Halloween fun.
Yeah, sure. Because he doesn't want anyone to laugh at him.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a doozy. All right, here we go.
That's a doozy. I tell you.
Let's see how genius you really are.
Here's what I would say to my kid. That's all I can tell you. Here's what I would say to my kid. Because I have a kid who has no sense of humor. I'm not saying that's true of yours, but we'll make a joke and he's like, I don't understand. And it's fine. Here's what I would say to my kid. I would say that we all care about different things in different ways. Everybody does. And he cares about his suit, and he takes it really serious. It's very important, and it's very serious to him. And that is enough on its own. And if other people respond to him in a way that feels not the same as he is responding to himself, that doesn't change how he feels about his suit. And it's just different people feel different ways about different things. And that's okay. We can let them, and it doesn't have to change who we are.
I love that.
I feel like I did that all right.
Yes.
Good job.
Fine. I like your jumpsuit, by the way. Hi.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I'm from right here in Decatur.
Hi,
We're
Sarah.
happy to welcome you here. I have been wanting to know since your first book in 2000, my Enneagram 1 heart cannot tell the difference between starting small and batching things. How do I know the difference? And maybe the answer is read the plan and it doesn't matter.
I think the answer is it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's right.
And that's not like it doesn't matter, Sarah. It just means Enneagram, bless us.
That's what my husband says.
Enneagram 1s really they don't like question marks. We like periods. We don't even like exclamation points. We're like, this is what it is. These are the lines. This is the file folder. I have I literally have file folders in my brain. Every friend has a file folder, and I remember things about them. We're a lot. We're great, but that part of it is the question is not, what is the difference between start small and batch it? The question is, what do I need right now? And am I okay if I don't fully know what category to put this in? And you are. You are okay if you don't know which one it is. You can just do the thing. Does that help?
That does.
I know
Thank
it's
you.
annoying. It's an annoying answer. Because I would be annoyed if I gave it to myself. But it is the
But
more
that's
helpful
usually
answer
the
than,
right answer.
than what the actual difference is.
I mean,
yes.
technically, she said, or does it not matter? I mean, she said
That's
it
true.
first.
She did offer that as an option. That's true. She did. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Next up.
Okay, next up.
Hello.
Hi,
You got it.
I'm Hannah. I'm from Tucker, which is like north of here. So one, it's weird. I feel like my internet big sisters are watching me, so this is like a fun and intimidating thing. I have a 1-year-old. She's a lot, and I find myself on my phone a lot around her. This isn't even the question I thought I was going to ask. What happened?
You got it. It's fine.
But I want mom content on Instagram is hard.
Yeah.
And because sometimes they're like, yeah, you're great. You gave your baby a Cheeto. And it's like, wow, you gave your baby a Cheeto.
Sure.
You're going to hell.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it feels like. But how do I curate because I don't want to get rid of social media. And some of it's helpful.
Sure.
Hey, here's how to feed your baby.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a first-time mom, if that wasn't obvious at all. So like, how do I curate what matters to me in a social media feed? Because like, I also don't want my whole social media feed to be moms, because I've worked really hard in therapy to not be just a mom.
Well, the hard
Which
thing
there's
too,
not just a mom. I'm sorry, I really worked
No,
hard
we
in that
understand what you
language.
mean.
You're gonna have to
like,
go back to therapy now.
Yeah. I see my therapist in like 2 weeks. But like, it's like, for me, it was really important to maintain my identity as a whole person.
Right, sure. So you want to still be able to utilize Instagram in a way that is useful to you and serves the needs that you have, whether it's enjoyment or learning or whatever, without it being a distraction, or without it being something that makes you feel bad, or gives you content that you don't want.
Yeah.
The third one, you're out of luck because people do suggested posts. It's just what's going to happen, which is really sad. Here's my real suggestion. Here's my real answer. There's two things. Number one, because you're a first-time mom, and because you swim in the water of greatness. You want to be a great mom. You want to be a great first-time mom. And there is no one way how to do it. There's no one way. Okay? There's not one way. There are many ways of how to be a mother. And you can actually make really terrible choices sometimes, and your kid is still going to be okay. They say it's 51%, you guys. 51%. And as long as you make a reasonable effort to repair the 49, that's actually real. Like, that is better for your kid than for you to be an amazing mom 100% of the time. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Okay.
As our friend Laura Tremaine says, you already have everything you need.
Yes.
You have everything you need. You do. And then the second thing I would say is pay attention to the times of the day that you maybe go on Instagram, and go when you're feeling fuller.
Yeah.
Don't do it when you're at the end of the day and you're like, I hate everything, because you'll just hate things more. You don't expect, everybody in here, don't expect to go on Instagram and leave significantly a more whole person than when you got on there. I mean, right?
Right.
Unless you're like 5 minutes, baby, 5 minutes. Because if then it's whatever. So that's my answer.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Thank
You're
you.
Doing great.
Hi, Kendra.
Joe, we doing okay on time?
You can turn it down. Yeah, there you go.
The lady in the burgundy dress is the last question. Oh, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, you guys.
No. Hello at the LazyGeniusCollective.com.
That's right. You can email me, DM me.
She'll answer your questions.
Sorry, guys. Okay, go for it.
Hi, Kendra. My name is Maddie. First, I want to say thank you because this is related to my question, I promise. You know David Goggins? He's this guy who is mostly famous because he was a really intense runner, and at some point, like while running, he severely injured himself and then kept running.
And then kept going.
And the men love him.
They do. The men love David
And
Goggins.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
And this is related to my question. My question mostly is, how do you dream from a place of contentment? And how do you do it when your husband loves David Goggins?
That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Nick.
That was so good. I dropped it.
That was so good.
I love my husband. I appreciate
Well
him.
done.
I don't want to dim his
No,
shine.
you're not. You're not.
but-
You're fine. Listen, you don't have to say any of those things. You're good. You're good. Okay. It's a little bit like the sumo suit. Just a little. You and your David Goggins loving husband do not have to approach goals the same way. Now, there are obviously things, if you're in a partnership with someone, it's nice to be on the same page. But in the same way that Sarah the mom that was just here, I'm so sorry I forgot your name already. There you go. In the same way that there are many ways to be a mother, and you don't have to know 100% of the things, there is a good, what's the word I'm looking for? One of the beautiful things about partnership is the alchemy of the differences that you bring. So I would seek to honor that in each other. And you can be like, you know what? That is a stressful approach to me. I don't want to push through when I'm injured. I feel good stopping. And so you can say to him, I know that you love me and you are trying to encourage me to keep going because that's what you would want me to do to you. And that's what I will do when the tables are turned, if you want me to.
I should encourage my husband to keep running when his legs are broken.
I mean, if he wants to, I guess. It's his life, it's his legs, I suppose. You don't have to like it. But my point is, say what you need, honor who you are today, and it's okay if he doesn't see it exactly the same way. Because his intensity and passion, I'm an intense, passionate person, if you can't tell. And I don't like running, so that's a terrible example for me. But there are lots of things that I will keep going. Because I'm like, well, I want to get it done. I want to do it. And sometimes that intensity and passion creates a book. It's not bad. Intensity and passion they are not bad things. It is not an either or. So there are going to be seasons, there are going to be situations, there are going to be lots of different variables where you just need to honor what you need and tell him what that is. And then if he won't listen to you, marriage counseling is a great idea. Thank you for asking me.
I know.
Best question. It was a great question.
I also have to say real quick, my best friend is an Enneagram 1, and I just want to thank you for how many times you've said that you guys are a lot. I'm going to take that as 10.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Also, another pro tip is this video will be up on the church's website.
Oh, yeah?
You should play it for him.
You could. It's actually a good call.
Yeah.
It's a good call. Hi.
Hi, my name's Heather, and I live in Valdosta, way down South Georgia. I love all of you very much. I also have to tell you that I'm a twin mom, and I'm a twin mom,
She's a twin mom.
They are fraternal, and I'm still going to choose to believe that I have value.
Okay. Listen, in the house of the Lord, you're still worthy.
What's your question, Heather?
I feel like maybe I should just leave it at that, actually. That was good. No, but for realsies. Okay, so my husband is active duty military, so we're stationed, this is our 7th duty station. And it's really hard to feel like we can carry out, I can carry out any sort of plan, because let's be real, I'm the one that plans everything, when everything literally revolves around like his schedule. So whether it be a deployment, last minute TDYs where he's gonna be gone for 2 weeks, or like, hey, guess what, we're moving to Japan in 3 months. So it's really hard to feel like I can carry out any long-term plans when our life is owned by the government.
That's right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. You guys ready to have your minds blown? Did you know PLAN is an acronym? PLAN is an acronym. P is for preparation. And that is what the industry teaches you. That's it. They only teach you how to prepare. Okay? That's why we're all trying so hard, because that is incomplete. Okay? There's a pyramid, you guys. It's not just an acronym, it's also a pyramid. The base of it, I'll just explain it to you real quick. This is after the part that I just read. The base of this pyramid is what matters to you in the season of life that you are in. Okay? Right now, where you are right now, through the lens of integration, not greatness. Okay? The 3 sides are the P, the A, and the N. Prepare, adjust, and notice. And there are principles to explain those things. There's a chapter on every one. There's a lot for you to learn. It's great. But they lean on each other in equal measure. So many of you who raise your hand maybe for lazy, who are in a season of life where it's just really hard to prepare, you feel like you're not doing a good job because you can't prepare. But you can adjust. You can notice what your kids need. You can see like, oh yeah, this thing is happening. We gotta pivot a little bit right here. Those 2 skills are not honored in the time management industry. And they are just as valuable as preparation. And then the point of the pyramid is the L, which is live. Isn't that cute? So, I don't know what the particulars are of how you do that. But you already have those other 2 skill sets, I bet.
Yeah.
And so, really what it is honoring the fact that you have what you need and you live with it like it's valuable, because it is. because you have a new goal and a new mindset.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it easier, but it probably will make you feel more like yourself, which does kind of make everything at least a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
your question. What's up?
This microphone feels tall.
It is tall.
No, it's fine.
You're doing great.
I can talk. Thank you.
That's her job.
Thank you, Erin. You're doing such a good job.
My name is Shelby. I live in Austell, and I guess the crux of my question is, what do you do when you're beholden to other people's expectations? And the context for that question is, sort of when you have to answer to people who prioritize things like optimization and butts in seats and bucks in the bank.
That's right. Can you get a new job?
No.
I like that you said that to her, and her shirt says, "This
pastor loves you."
Yeah. So
That's
I
what her
did.
shirt says.
God, that's what she
I did
said.
actually leave that job, which is why I'm
Got it.
here
Got it.
in Atlanta.
This is one of the most common questions I get asked because it is so relatable to everybody. We all are in places where we are, for some responsibility or obligation, we are beholden to someone who has different priorities than we do. So I don't think that there's a very clean answer for this. I don't mean clean like appropriate. I mean like clear. Although she's sad. She's sad it wasn't. Okay. It's kind of there are three things that come to mind. Number one, there are times where you can stand up and say it. And say, I love to start in those kinds of contexts. Instead of starting with I think, I love to start with I wonder if. It's like one of my favorite Enneagram 1 hacks. For how to approach situations for myself, but also when I'm having conversations, it makes me softer and kinder. So I actively say, I wonder if. So if you're in a room with, all the leadership and whatever, and you're like, I wonder if, or I wonder what would happen if we measured the success of this event in a different way. What would happen if we measured it rather than how many people came, but maybe how many people we got to talk to when it was over that felt really seen, rather than just like filling it and then never talking to any of them again? I'm not saying that's necessarily what it has to be, because we need to agree on that, but like, what would that look like if that was our goal instead? And open a conversation rather than being like, you guys suck, you care about the wrong thing. And I know, because you have a shirt that says this pastor loves you, you would not do that. Probably no one in this room would do that. But that's sort of what we think our only option is that we again have to come in with torches blazing. And you totally can. If you feel empowered to do that in the space that you're in, or you've just had enough or whatever, that is a great reaction. It's a great response to that kind of thing. Because sometimes we need fire for change to be made. But not always. So you can honor asking the questions, just being a voice of reason in that, and being like, guys, I feel like we're building this too big. You notice how I keep saying guys. Guys, I feel like we're building this too big. Can we start a little smaller? Because I just don't know that we're going to be able to execute this the way that we think we are. This is a lot of pieces. So can we make this a little smaller? And then we can build it out if we've got the margin after. It's that kind of thing. It's almost sort of just like, it's salt. It's salt in the conversation. I think I'm going to stop there, actually. I feel good about that answer.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
A bit taller.
I'm so good at this.
Thank you.
Hello.
I'm Brittany. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I came a long way.
You did. Welcome, Brittany.
Thank you. So I always say I really love my kids, my family, but I also really love my career.
Okay.
I'm a Enneagram 3, so I want to do all the things.
Yeah, you do.
Be in all the rooms, get all the degrees, do all the things.
Of course.
I'm in those spaces now, and I'm tired.
Sure.
And you feel like you're on a train now that's just like out of control, and life is just happening to you, and you're like, maybe this isn't everything I needed to be. What if I just want to be there when my kid has pneumonia, or play Barbies with her, take her to the park?
Yeah.
How do you pivot when you've made it your life's journey to be in those spaces and do all the things?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Ever hear that? Yeah. Okay. So I talk about this in the book. everything at once, we think everything at once is the solution. That you want to see in big strokes from like from an airplane, looking at your whole life and being like, how am I going to undo these things? But how am I not going to move away from them so much that I can maybe still go back to them? Like you're trying to see it all at once. And everything at once is the problem. It is not the solution. So if you find yourself wanting to like 10,000 feet this thing first, you're not going to find the answers you want. I think you're just going to be more frustrated or get big black trash bag energy or try to build everything it's just going to create more chaos in you and maybe outside of you as well. And so that's the first thing I would say is just to go like, today. There's a whole chapter called Start With Today. And I think for people who are achievers, that's very hard. But you can practice. You can be kind when it doesn't go the way you want it to because you probably have high expectations of how it would go anyway. But start where you are today. Start with today. And if you are a future-oriented person, which Enneagram 3s are, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, please, because you're better Enneagram than I am. Because 3s love the future. 3s, 7s, and 8s. 3, 7s, and 8s, yeah. They love the future. That they see everything through the future. So it's challenging, right, to kind of step back. Do y'all know that the P and the A and the N in plan sort of coordinate with Enneagram numbers? I didn't really fully say it in the book, but it's like kind of true. I wanted Suzanne to be able to confirm it before I actually said it in writing. But you know what you're really good at? You're really good at adjusting. You're good at being in there and being like, nope, this. Nope, this. So instead of being like, how do I prepare? And then you get in it and you're like, I don't want to notice it. What do you mean? I'm too tired to notice. I can't right now. You're actually probably really good at adjusting. So honor that piece of the pyramid a little bit as you start with today and you move to tomorrow and then another tomorrow and then another tomorrow. Everything at once is not the solution. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Last question. That sounded really aggressive. Last question.
Hi, Kendra. I'm Laura. I live in Savannah, Georgia, but I'm from North Carolina. Go Tar Heels.
Nice. Go Tar Heels.
My question is about...
I knew somebody was going to do that. I was waiting.
It's okay. I married a Dookie.
Go ahead.
My question is about how to love and be present with those that we love the most when your seasons don't match. So the context is 3 years ago, it was COVID. My husband lost his job. My dad died. I had a really horrible pregnancy. Then I broke my foot, had a traumatic birth, had a baby who didn't sleep, and my dog got cancer.
Love it. Wow.
In
Holy
1
moly.
year. I know, you can't make it up. But that year for my husband and me was, in a way, easier than where we are now, which is our lives have stabilized. We have a great community. We had a third baby who sleeps and is a magical dream. And I love the little kid season and is life-giving to me. Mm-hmm. And my husband just like dreams of the day when everybody can wipe their own butts.
Sure. I mean, he's not wrong, but yeah.
But there's, we're not quite on the same wavelength. It's easier when you're in the trenches under fire. And I want to be able to love him well. But we're in really different seasons, and I don't want to make him feel badly that I love this season.
Mm-hmm. That's such a good, tender, relatable question, because when we feel differently about something significant with someone that we, love the most, it feels like there's a lot of possibility for things to go awry. For feelings to get hurt or for somebody to say the wrong thing. So it could be, my guess is, based on the fact that you're asking this question and the way that you asked it, that you are quite focused on making sure that he feels validated, that you don't want to make him feel bad, But that's sort of at odds with you trying to honor your season without apology. Does that sound right? I might say something controversial here. But hey, it's almost over, so why not? This makes me want to cry. one of the things that we're taught a lot, whether implicitly or explicitly, one of the things we're supposed to master is being a wife. And we think that there's one very specific way to do that, which is to defer to what he needs or wants. And you don't have to defer. You can honor what he wants while still honoring what you want. And that's a daily long haul heart posture for you to have the confidence in yourself and in your marriage to be like, he'll be okay if we disagree about this. I don't have to feel bad for loving being in the floor with these tiny kids and he doesn't want to. I don't have to make him want to, and I don't have to apologize to him that I actually really love it. You don't have to defer. You don't have to apologize. And I think by doing that, what that actually does, it gives you the confidence to keep doing it, number one. But number two, I think it actually demonstrates to your husband that he has the same freedom with you, that you can love each other well and disagree about how you feel about something, whether it's where you're going to eat or how much you like tiny kids or whatever it is. There's a beautiful dance in that you can lead with him. But I think it starts with not changing, nope, that's not the right word. Just honoring what matters to you and not apologizing for it, even with someone that you love, and trusting he's going to keep loving you. You know, like that's not in danger. And he'll learn a new way. You don't have to be the only one to learn a new way. I'm done.
I am.
Thank you for your question.
Joe's here. Hang on.
Conference, hold please.
Talk about capris. Do we like them?
We're at a good place. Yes, we're good. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Joe's a good person.
We don't like them.
Okay, this is Joe from the Decatur
This is Joe.
Library.
Guys, this is Joe from the library. Yeah.
All right. Are we serious? Okay. So just a couple of quick things, because I know some of you came up a mysterious back stairwell that I don't know how you got into this building when we were starting the program. But if you were some of those folks and you pre-ordered a book, don't forget to pick up your pre-orders out there. There are a scant few copies left. If you need signed copies, you can purchase them from the bookworm out there. Just to let you all know, everybody exit out that way. And I don't know what you all did, but I'm just going to let you know. There are Decatur police cruisers sitting across the street at the Goodyear. So because we're in the house of the Lord, I need you all to be nice.
That's right.
And get home safe.
This is a good crowd, Joe.
Yeah, I know. But you just, out there on the streets, there's a police cruiser. Okay? Just letting you know.
That's perfect.
Thank you, Joe.
That's great advice. Listen, the thing about y'all are good people, but you also will cut a bee off. I know you. I know you. And you won't let anybody in, because I know how you are. Okay. Listen, tonight has been fantastic. This was free. Listen. All right? This was free. Even though you might have paid for a book, this was a free event. That was because of a lot of great people that participated. You came out. We're so thankful, but you didn't pay. So you owe Kendra. No, I didn't tell her to say that. I did not tell her to say that. And she's not going to say it because she's like a good person, but I'm not a good person. So listen, one of the biggest things for authors is leaving 5-star reviews. Now, I don't want you to be, like, I know some of you have integrity and you read The Great Gatsby and that's the only 5-star you've ever read. That's fine. You live your life. But if you don't have that much integrity, please know if you enjoyed tonight, if you enjoy Kendra's work at all, one of the great ways that you can support her is by leaving a 5-star review. That can be on Amazon, that can be on Goodreads, that can be on Storygraph, that can be lots of places that you can do that. It doesn't cost you any money to do that. So I encourage you to do that. Then we have lots of people to thank. Of course, Julia and her team.
Julia's here! That was much better this time. Much better.
So here's the thing about independent bookstores. Listen, I know a lot of us are like, well, Amazon's coming every Tuesday and Friday. So it's just real convenient. And I'm not saying not to do that, all right? Because sometimes you're like, well, the book is like gonna get here this day. But let me tell you what matters at an indie bookstore. And listen, I buy books from lots of places. My sweet niece works at Books A Million. Like, that's still a place. Can you believe that? But here's the thing. When you support an indie bookstore, whether you do that online, whether you do that in shop, and you can head to Powder Springs and go to the Bookworm, but when you do that, you're supporting your local economy. You are supporting local people who live where you live because they're getting paid. You might pay a little more for that book, but listen, I had 2 books come to my house today, one from Jeff Bezos and one from the Bookshelf in Thomasville, Georgia. One had the cover ripped. Thanks for that. And one came wrapped with a handwritten note from Keela, who said, I loved this book. I bet you would also love, and she listed other books. That is an experience you get from indie bookstores. So when you can, and if you are able to support them, I encourage you to do that. So we're so thankful for them.
And before we go move on from the Bookworm, Julie wants us to take a room selfie. Where if you have a book, hold it up a little, and I'm going to go stand right there.
If you have the book, if you don't have the book, just throw up like some sort of gang sign. Oh yeah, 0.5. Oh, you're doing your panoramic. Perfect, gorgeous. Smile one more time. And we're getting a panoramic, so you're feeling it. You're doing a great job. Some of you have really long arms. I'm going to be honest with you. It is impressive. Oh, he was like learning. One more. Books up. We're thrilled. We did it. We're not going to get a ticket when we leave. This is amazing. All right. We also.
Thank you, Julia and Joe.
Two last thank yous. Joe, who you just met, is from the Decatur Library. Look, libraries, I read so much from the library because it's like, it's amazing because you can get through a whole series. You don't have to spend $1 million. And supporting your library, whether it's through ebooks online, going into your library, going to events like this all sends more dollars to your libraries because they have to prove their worth in their community to be able to get revenue. And so absolutely always support your local library. If you're here in Decatur Library, support every event they have.
Go visit
They're
Joe.
fantastic. And then finally, listen, First Baptist Church Decatur, you have been a delight.
So good. You guys. I couldn't hear necessarily all of the intro words, but I would just like to confirm or tell you for the first time that when I got here, I'm signing books, and Randall walked in and said, no introduction, he said, I got Maker's Mark in my office. Do you want some?
Why are we going to other churches?
I was like, this is the greatest church I've ever seen in my life.
If you are a person of faith and you don't have a church home, we highly recommend First Baptist Church Decatur. I might start commuting.
I was going to say, James is going to commute.
Fine. Listen, thank you for tonight. Thank you to Kendra. One big round of applause for her. All right, don't forget, you owe her. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.